Welcome to my seedling dungeon here downstairs in our unfinished basement, so don't look too close around me. What I'm going to do is I will walk you through everything what I'm growing here on my one seed starting rack, which is going to populate my 400 square feet garden outside, which is pretty much 50-50 cut flower garden versus vegetable garden. And my setup here has been proven very space sufficient to really just have one seed starting rack to provide all the plants for my garden. So I'll walk you through when I'm planning to plant certain things outside, because a little bit of a rotation is mixed into the space mix. So yeah, let me show you around. I'm Steffi, I'm a home gardener here in Attleboro, Massachusetts, is zone 6, and I love to take you along for the ride. So welcome to my channel. So let's start on the top. What we have over here is our basil. So those two rows are here my culinary basil. Everything on the left hand side is my lemon basil, which I use for my fillers, for my cut flowers. Smells so good. And yes, they need to be thinned and will be thinned most likely after this video. They are still going on growing for another 4 weeks, which by then they will be very sizable and probably already pinched once. But that is the timing where I planned those ones out. They're going to get out in the 3rd week of May here. And then you can see my very luscious snapdragons. You can always see the underside of what the color of the snapdragons will be from the underside of the leaves. It's always a fun little neat trick to know. And yes, they are already tall, and I started them already 2 weeks later than I started them last year. So yeah, we're still working on the perfect timing for them. And you can see I have also already pinched them. That is the magic of pinching and how you get more blooms. Those ones were just pinched this morning. Those ones I pinched a couple of days ago. Depending on the weather, I'm planning to plant those ones out in a couple weeks from now. So I typically kick them out end of April or beginning like 1st week of May. They're usually 3 to 4 weeks earlier than my warm season vegetables and flowers. So same with my glorious, beautiful Lysianthus seedlings. They are, yeah, one of the best Lysianthus crop I have ever grown from seed, I would argue. Look how tall they are. Aren't those gorgeous? They are in the same mix as the snapdragon, so they are going to get out in 2 to 3 weeks from now, which means we're start hardening off in probably a week from now. Again, all a little bit weather dependent. Certain area of our zone just had still snow on the ground this weekend, so we got to be careful. And those are here. Those are a mixed batch of my cut flower fillers I love to grow as well. So we have some status here, some celosia, some argyratum, a little bit more status, and a little bit more celosia. So you can see here, I love to have a lot of variety, but not many plants per variety. So that's typically how I do it in those little 4 blocks or 4 soil blocks per microgreen tray to really have them beautifully separated. Most of them got already thinned. I got it thin here a little bit more there, and maybe the argyratum over there, but everything else looks great. And then we can move here to the right to my extremely unruly onions. I've cut them already 4 times. Like you can see here, that was the last cut. That was just from a week ago. Isn't that crazy? They are luscious and they are happy, and they're definitely on the brink of ready to get outside. And I'll probably cut them one more. I always use the cut-ups for dinners and whatsoever. It's really nice. You can eat those ones, the first harvest of 2025 practically. So for that, I really enjoy those ones. Those are going to be planted out with the Lysianthus and the snapdragons over there. Then we move one layer down where we still have the heat mat a little bit on, because my peppers love the warm feet. And as you can tell, they look very happy. This is a mixed batch out of hottish, peppers and just sweet peppers. And on the right hand side, I potted up just a couple of tubers, which I wasn't sure if they're going to make it because they were rotting so badly. But you can pot up rotted tubers if you treat them well, and they will still grow. So that's why we have 2 potted tubers there, but I'm not planning to put anything else up. My peppers, though, when we look closer, you can see the roots there already. Those are going to be pot up tomorrow when it's probably nice after work on our beautiful day, which didn't want to land on the weekend. So we'll do that tomorrow outside to keep the mess outside. But they are going to get into the same pots as the dahlia tubers are. And then we'll be still sitting here on the heat mat to just have it nice, warm and cozy how they like it. And then when we move to the bottom, we have here some fun. The lettuce is getting the eviction notice as well, with the other Lysianthus, the onions, everything like cold hardy is going to get kicked out. And then we have a good number of lettuce already in the beds. Those are some geraniums which just germinated from the ones I started as a second wave after my first wave didn't germinate so well. We have here already all our tomatoes. As you know, I start my tomatoes very, very late just because I don't want to transplant 3 feet long tomatoes. So they might still look small, but they will be the size of the peppers of how you have seen them in 3 weeks from now. I have no doubt about that. So they are really, really nice. We had good germination rate for most of them. Even I had a couple of old seeds over there. So those are looking really great. And then you can see here the one which didn't work out so great. Those were my last year's geranium seeds which didn't germinate well. Yes, they are all also pelleted, but I was hoping they would germinate a little better. So I have here a couple rows which barely germinated. Those are actually stragglers who just came up recently. Those were all empty before, but you can tell like the basil is already living its life, and the other ones here are already quite sizable as well. But it doesn't matter. We have enough plants to populate the container as I like them. And then my other happy tray with a gorgeous and beautiful germination. Those are exactly 1 week old. So when you look at them, it's crazy how well they grow. Those are all my zinnias. Those are a little bit over half the zinnias which go in the cut flower garden. And the smaller ones over there in the back, those are the ones which I'm going to plant in my containers. If you're curious about the container video or the container recipe I'm applying with those seeds, check out this video over there. I've made a video of how you can do that, and there's still time to grow those ones from seed as well for you if you're interested. So just to recap it, everything cold hardy like the snapdragons, the Lysianthus, the onions, and downstairs the lettuce gets hardened off starting next week probably. So that brings us to the Easter weekend of 2025 for a week, and then most likely getting transferred on the last weekend of April or the first weekend of May. I'm working under the week, so usually I don't have time for that under the week, but we'll see how the weather plays with us and my travel schedule. So we will see that. But just to give you the rough order of magnitude, this is typically 3 to 4 weeks earlier than all my warm weather plants like the basil, tomatoes, peppers, and the other cut flowers like the zinnias and the celosias of the world. So I hope this video was interesting to you. Let me know if you have any questions. And yeah, otherwise subscribe and watch another video. Thank you.